Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of our Higher Self Expo. Today, we have another one of our amazing guests, Bobby Vasquez, who's going to be doing a biofield tuning session experience for us. It's such an exciting time to have him because we are definitely dealing with some high energies and movements. So, to have him explain a little bit about what this sound tuning, vibrational tuning will be doing for us is going to be amazing. I'm going to introduce him a little bit. Let's go over his bio. Bobby Vasquez is a certified biofield tuner practitioner. He's a sound therapist trained by Eileen Day McCusick, creator of Biofield Tuning Method. He offers a unique and elegant approach with his intuitive nature and to tune the body and restore the natural flow and energy. Bobby acts as a facilitator by helping to bring awareness to sessions that allow you to see what is creating the imbalances in your energetic body. He's been working with and studying sound for over 20 years, and you can learn more about his work at biofieldtuningsj.com. So, Bobby, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Geraldine. How you doing?
Great. So, let's jump into it. Tell us a little bit about this biofield tuning. What is it? How does
Oh,
it help us?
okay. Well, biofield tuning, we're working with the human biofield, the biofield that's the energy field that surrounds our body. It lives about 5 to 6 feet outside, away from us, 2 to 3 feet above our head and below our feet. And we're working with tuning forks. I'm working with tuning forks to restore the natural flow of energy. We use tuning forks as a biofeedback, and it produces these pure tones. And when I activate them in your field, depending on a timeline, that's also the other thing. Within the biofield, we work with a timeline of life. So the biofield, as it extends away from our body, we're looking at birth. And as the biofield is closer to our body, we're looking at the last few years of existence, or so to speak.
Wow.
Um, so when I bring this energy in, it alerts me of either charges. I like to call them charges, stuck energy. And usually the stuck energy in this charges is connected to a traumatic event, a moment of charge, a big moment, big trauma, little trauma, middle trauma. It's just something that really shook up or held on to the person's energy. This is the way I've been interpreting it and the way I find it. So when I
Amazing.
strike the fork in there, it alerts me on this timeline of maybe when this took place. And
Mhm.
as well, the tone will alert me of if there's some sadness around, maybe if there's some anxiousness, any bits of anxiety. And with the tuning fork, we do a little bit of an auto tune. As I hang out with the natural tone, it allows me to hear where the disturbances are. And as I sit with this tone, eventually the body has a chance to reorganize itself around this natural frequency and kind of does this auto tune, right? So it clears the noise. So I find these disturbances as noise within your field, and with the forks, I come into your field and I get rid of that noise. It kind of, as we speak of a tune, it tunes you up, so we're bringing you back to your natural flow, the natural sound of how it should, that beautiful tone, the beautiful rich sound, instead of something that doesn't belong there.
That is amazing. So let me ask you about the timeline. How do you identify, or how does this timeline work that you're finding on the body? How do we know, or how did you understand that it's the further away is the or earlier ages? How does that work? Can you explain that to us?
Yeah, the timeline was something that was discovered through the creator Eileen Day McCusick, and it's something that, as all practitioners or people who learn this modality, this is what we go along. This is kind of our guide, right? And notice that the further away, it's similar to like rings of a tree, but a little bit of the reverse order, right? So the further away would be, and this is something that she discovered with her work with the human biofield and just working along. And interestingly, as other practitioners and myself included, when we work with the field, we can duplicate this this process. And if other practitioners, as every practitioner, there might be a different session with the same client, right? But more than likely, if something occurred at 5, there's somebody else that's going to find that noise at 5 or that stuckness at 5. And if I find that if it's a heavy traumatic moment and I find that in your root chakra, I'm probably going to find that up on your heart chakra at age 5 to maybe your crown chakra. If it's something that's really big and that's really had an impactful moment, you're going to find it in all the chakras within that age. And it's something that was discovered, like I said, within the process of discovering Biofeild tuning. And as we've all learned it and tried it out, we find these ages, right? I get numbers now. I see numbers dropping in when I'm working in the field. Like, what happened at age 23? Or 23 is something significant. And usually it's pretty it's pretty on as far as like maybe even person says, well, what about 22? Would that work? Well, there's no really give or take. I don't have a ruler here, but this is something that I'm just sensing in and why I'm stopped and why we're hanging out with this tone, with this frequency. So you hear that tone, you hear it. It can be really different. You can feel it, you can sense it, and sometimes it becomes like a wall, and it stops me. It stops me in that flow. Like, you can't go anymore, because I'm using a fork coming in on the field, and as I'm bringing it in, it comes to this point. It's like, you're stopped. You can't move any further. And that's obviously if you move past it, but it really holds on to you. And sometimes it's a bigger wall than a smaller wall. Sometimes it feels like I'm walking through water, or I'm moving the fork through water, because
Wow.
it may be stuck energy, but it may not be as stuck as some of these other points in our life, right?
Right. That's amazing. And so you mentioned that a certain tune will come up. And so how do you identify the tunes? I guess, is there a scale of tunes that you go by, or does each fork have a certain range of tunes? And then how do you know? Is it like a deeper tune that comes up or a higher tune? How do you know that it's heavy, stuck energy? How do you identify that?
The heavier stuck energy is something that I feel in my body. Like, if it's really
Um,
heavy and traumatic, I'll feel it. I might even feel a little nauseous. I might feel, the energy that sometimes they're feeling, I might even feel as well, right?
mhm.
So I find that heaviness, but we go for the natural tone of the fork, right? So if it's not sounding natural, then something's off. If it's sounding, and that's the interesting thing, is that it could sound alarming. Like, it's a term that we use. Like, it sounds like alarming or anxious, and you hear, instead of it going, this beautiful tone, it's kind of this, it's like screeching in another
Right.
direction, and it's pretty fascinating as a practitioner to constantly hear the changes in the tones in the different parts, right? You
That's
know,
amazing.
at birth is a common thing where, birth is a traumatic experience to begin with, right? But a lot of people have trauma at birth. Sometimes there's emergency situations. You'll hear that emergency, mom had to go to the hospital. You'll hear that in the tone. Or if there's just an emergency situation where maybe they had to go to the hospital in an ambulance, you'll hear kind of like a siren in a weird way, in
Mhm.
that tone that alerted you, like something was really off, something was really heavy.
Wow.
And this is something that over time, we all interpret it differently, and I've gotten pretty good at interpreting the information that comes through. And also my body's even opened up more to the sounds as far as the information that comes into.
Very interesting. And so, how does this work in a group setting now? Because you're going to be doing a group setting for us. How does that work?
So now it's something pretty amazing that I've been doing since I started, just providing group setting tunings for people who kind of like a meditative experience, right? A meditative group experience. Some people use the sound bowls. They use, they have the sound baths, and I like that idea, but a little bit deeper with this work, right? And in the past, I've also played some frequency based music or kind of soundscapes within a group setting, when we're all one to one. And so essentially with the group setting, I'm working on the collective field of all the people that are present within this space, and the energy that I'll be working on. So I look at it, as a timeline. It's kind of in percentages, like about halfway into your body. It takes a different approach as far as the timelines, but we're still working on chakras. I'm still working on the energy field, and it's amazing how the responses that I get from people all over the country. And this will be an interesting experience too for people to really try it out, feel it through their feet, because that's what I've been really moving through. Is that I've been moving through the idea of working on our feet chakras
Mm.
and opening up those energy pathways to really feel it throughout your whole body. So looking to provide a relaxing, meditative, but even somewhat healing experience for us all.
That is really beautiful. And so it will be interesting. Do you find that sometimes people come together in groups and they have similar things going on, or that you tend to pick up on like collective blockages that you pick up in when you do these healings?
Yeah, there is a collective overall collective energy. It's like maybe collective patterns that we're all experiencing, right? Collective patterns that kind of everybody's experiencing. And well, what do you know? That collective pattern kind of brought us all together in this one space. And I'm working on something that everybody's kind of experiencing or dealing with in some way or another, or whether it's, and that's why when I was looking at the feet chakras, I was looking at all of our next steps moving forward and how to get get your feet back on the ground and remove any kind of obstructions or any blocks that could be holding us back from our true potential.
Amazing. And so you said that you're going to be doing a tuning for us. It's a 30-minute tuning, is that right?
Yes.
And so in this tuning, what are you going to be doing? Can you tell us a little bit about how should we prepare for it? What's going to happen? What should we expect and not expect?
Yes. Okay. So for this tuning preparation, the best thing to be doing is find yourself a comfortable space, without any interruptions, anything that can get you out of your body, right? Because it's important to really create a space to go into your body, become present, and see what you notice, see what energy you feel. And there is no right or wrong on what you should be doing or how you should be feeling in any of this work. If you're relaxed and you feel an energy spike and you need to get up and kind of move with it a little bit, it's okay. If you need to get up and use the restroom, that's fine too. So many different things will happen from my experience with energy moving around, and I don't want to put any limits on anybody.
Fantastic. So, in other words, listen to your intuition and be mindful of yourself in that session. What comes up for you? Do you feel like moving? Do you feel like staying? And just letting the sounds kind of just come over. That's amazing, Bobby. Well, we are so excited to have you. And do you have any events coming up or any kind of projects that you're working on that you want people to know about?
Well, events, we have a Wisdom Con coming up in September that I believe we're going to be doing some fun stuff with. I've been working on some music lately and some meditative experience soundscapes. So that's what I'm hoping to get moving forward, and even some presencing meditations. Recently, I finished up coaching through the Human Potential Institute, and I'm bringing in my mindfulness and presencing into my work, and just trying to make something, provide something more for the people.
Beautiful. And so you do one-on-one sessions as well, right? Um,
Yes.
how can people find you and what does the session look like with you?
Well, the session, I give it about an hour bit of work. I don't stick to that hour, sometimes hour, 20 minutes or so. But we look at your energy body. We see what is holding you back, what is keeping you possibly stuck in this space or in these patterns. And I take a look at your energy field. I take a look at your timeline and see where the stuck energy. We do restoration of flow with the tuning forks, and I bring I continue to talk about awareness, because bringing that awareness of what is keeping you in that loop, or where it started, where it began, where did that anxiety begin? When did you see it? Did it begin with mom at age 5? Are you still holding on to the anxiety? Can you relook at your anxiety and see that maybe it's not yours as much as you realize? And that's powerful, That's powerful for people to take that information and do good with it and make
Hmm.
some good change.
That's amazing.
So you can
How?
find me. Oh, sorry. You can
Oh, go
find
ahead.
me
Go ahead.
at www.biofieldtuning, S as in Sam, J as in John.com, or at higherhealing.com as well.
Fantastic. That's amazing. And just quickly, how do you see your clients react to these kinds of changes? Like once they have this stuff moving, what's their response?
The responses are feeling one of the reasons why I got into coaching is because a lot of clients would always be like, what do I do with all this now that
Yeah.
I'm tuned and
Yeah.
clear? How do I, what do I don't know what to do with all this potential, essentially, right?
Hmm.
So now I can help you with that along the way, because people feel unstuck, they feel lighter, they feel more relaxed, more calm. They can breathe deeper in their bodies. We don't like to say we help cure anything, because we just don't like to go there, but we can help assist many things that you're experiencing or dealing with in your life through the balancing of energies through sound.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Bobby. Well, I am so excited. I can't wait to get that biofield tuning privately and also in this group session. So, if you guys want to work with Bobby, please do check out his websites and go ahead and register for the event. Please subscribe and share and bring all your friends along so they can get some of this incredible juicy healing with Bobby. And thank you so much for joining us today. And
Th-
see you soon.
Thank you, Geraldine. See you guys on the 17th.
Thank you. See you guys soon.